Hedwig Jagiellon, baptized as Hedwigis, was a Polish princess member of the Jagiellonian dynasty and by marriage Duchess of Bavaria. Born in Kraków, she was the eldest daughter of King Casimir the Fourth of Poland and Archduchess Elisabeth of Austria. In 1468 her hand was requested by Matthias Corvinus, King of Hungary, who on the 8th of April of that year sent Protas Horski Boskovic, Bishop of Olomouc, as his representative. With this marriage, the Hungarian ruler wanted to gain a valuable ally against his rival for the Bohemian throne, George of Poda-Brady. At the same time, began negotiations for remarriage between the second daughter of Casimir IV, Sophia, with Archduke Maximilian of Austria, son and heir of Emperor Frederick the Third. In this way, the Polish king would guarantee that in the future, the rulers of Austria and Hungary would be his descendants. The efforts of Matthias Corvinus for Hedwig's hand are supported by both the Emperor and Pope Paul II. However, since 1462 Casimir IV had an alliance with George of Poda-Brady, and Pope Pius II was suspicious about this after the 13 Years' War, where Poland fights against the Teutonic Order. In addition, another main oppositor for the marriage between Hedwig and the Hungarian king was the princess mother Queen Elisabeth, who replied that Matthias is a peasant, midget, vlach, dog, just not worth of her. Despite this, Bishop Protas was chosen godfather in the baptism of the new son of King Casimir IV, born on the 27th of April 1467, who was named Frederick after the emperor. In 1469 the Catholic party in the Kingdom of Bohemia formally offered the crown to Matthias Corvinus. George of Poda-Brady sought the support of Poland, promising the succession of the eldest son of Casimir IV, Vladislaus, in exchange of the help. Corvinus, afeard of this Polish-Bohemian alliance, again requested the hand of Hedwig, who was refused. On the 20th of October 1470 Casimir IV and Frederick signed a treaty in the city of Graz. Here was discussed a possible marriage between Hedwig and Maximilian. Matthias Corvinus asked the hand of Hedwig again in July 1471 and September 1473. At the end, the definitive refusal was made by Queen Elizabeth. At the beginning of 1473 arrived to Poland two councillors of Albert IV, Duke of Bavaria, Munich, with a proposal of marriage of his ruler with Hedwig. However, Casimir IV refused the offer because at the time, he started negotiations for remarriage between his eldest daughter with George, son and heir of Louis IX, Duke of Bavaria, Landshut. Casimir IV, in order to protect his southwestern borders with the Bohemian kingdom, decided to enter into a closer alliance with Bavaria. In 1473 the Polish deputies Stanislaw Kuroswecki and Paweł Jastrzębski were sent to the Landshut court to begin talks for remarriage between Hedwig and George. As a result, in 7 of the 10th of September 1474, Duke Louis IX of Bavaria Landshut sent an official message asking Hedwig's hand for his son. Negotiations took place in the cities of Lechica and Radom, where on the 30th of December Hedwig agreed to marry George. The next day, the marriage contract was signed. Hedwig received as a dowry the amount of 32,000 Hungarian zloty, payable in 5 installments in the next 5 years. The cost of the trip of the Polish princess to her new home reached 100,000 zloty. Because the future spouse is closely related, in 1475 the Polish royal chancellor Uriel Gorka traveled to Rome to ask the required dispensation, who was granted by Pope Sixtus IV on the 26th of May of that year. Hedwig arrived with her family to Poznan, where on the 10th of October 1475 she said goodbye to them. With a numerous retinue she arrived to Wittenberg on the 23rd of October. She accompanied, among others, by Anna, widow of Boleslaw II, Duke of Schleswig. On 14 November 1475 Hedwig and her retinue finally entered in Landshut, an event which started the tradition of the famous medieval pageant Landshut wedding. The wedding ceremony took place that day at St. Martin's Church, with the service being officiated by Bernhard von Rohr, Archbishop of Salzburg. Several German rulers attended the wedding, included Emperor Frederick the Third and his son Maximilian Albrecht III, Achilles, Elector of Brandenburg, Sigismund, Archduke of Further Austria and ruler of Tyrol, Philip, Elector Palatine, Albert, Margrave of Baden-Hachberg, Count Ulrich via Württemberg Stuttgart and Eberhard via Württemberg Zurich, Landgrave Louis I of Leuchtenberg and Count Otto of Henneberger-Schacht. The proper wedding feast was held the next day, in which participated 9,000 people. In 1479 Hedwig became Duchess consort of Bavaria Landshut after the death of her father-in-law. Her marriage was unsuccessful. Her husband was known as an alcoholic and womanizer. In 1485 George banished his wife from the ducal court in Landshut and placed her at Burghausen Castle, where she lived with her own court and numerous servants, but according to contemporary chroniclers deprived from all the pleasures of the world and comforted only with her loneliness. It's unknown if she was accompanied by her children in this exile. Hedwig, who signed her letters as Geborene Königin von Polen, didn't maintain a close contact with her family. On the 31st of January 1503, her brother, King Alexander of Poland, wrote to her husband that he didn't know that Hedwig had been dead for 11 months. Hedwig, Duchess of Bavaria Landshut, died unexpectedly on the 18th of February 1502 at Burghausen Castle. She was buried in the Cistercian monastery of Radenhaslach near Burghausen. When the monastery was secularized in 1803, her tombstone was destroyed. However, there is a commemorative stone in the floor of the church in the place where her grave was previously located. Issue: Hedwig and George had 5 children: Louis of Bavaria Landshut, Rupert of Bavaria Landshut, Elisabeth of Bavaria Landshut, married on the 10th of February 1499 to Rupert, Count Palatine of the Rhine, Margaret of Bavaria Landshut, abbess of the Benedictine monastery in Neuburg and der Donau, Wolfgang of Bavaria Landshut. Ancestry.